Hi, this is Jim Reavis, CEO of Cloud Security Alliance, and I want to welcome you to the FinCloud Security Summit for 2025. We've been doing this for a few years now, and it's going to be a very intense, packed day with lots of fascinating topics and great speakers. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you let us know what else we can do for you here in this educational journey that we're on for cloud and financial services. Just wanted to share you some of the things I'm thinking about, and we have such a great number of speakers that actually I think a lot of these topics are covered explicitly or they are mentioned, brought up in several of the different sessions. So certainly when I think about financial services, always the early adopter in a lot of cases of the cybersecurity solutions that are so important. And also they have some of the most complex environments and the most highly regulated environments close to that. And so the need for financial services to always be running is a key part of resiliency. It's been for many years since we've been defining critical infrastructure in nations. It's been one of those key industries. You've got to pay your soldiers, you've got to pay your first responders, everything's got to work out very well, and so nothing's more important practically. So we are definitely of a mind of how we can make that even better, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So artificial intelligence and generative AI, as you've probably seen and heard, is become just a key pillar for Cloud Security Alliance, along with cloud itself, as well as zero trust. We actually see cloud and AI merging together, and so it's really this new version of the cloud that you're using is very much AI enabled. And so we're thinking a lot about how sophisticated are these attacks going to get, how soon, definitely the scale at which you can do things, the types of things you can do with fraud, impersonation that can be done, the deep fakes, everything. It's quite something and creates some unique challenges for financial services. Also, we're seeing the trend towards using AI for cybersecurity is quite big, quite profound, and I think this is absolutely necessary and in many cases the key way in which we're going to be dealing with and managing the AI attacks that are happening. So our AI safety initiative is something that's like critical to our mission to be able to move the ball forward there. So it doesn't matter to a certain degree how well of a job that a very large company does if it doesn't secure its supply chain. And I'm just aware of this in so many different industries that when you peel all the layers, there ends up being these critical companies that are maybe even less than 10 people. And maybe we have some questions about the security best practices, but for some historical reasons or some unique expertise they may have, they become important parts of our supply chain. And so thinking about that third-party risk, and some people talk about fourth-party risk as well, but just having that idea of systemic risk within an ecosystem, and that's definitely something I think a lot about in financial services because you have these very large, critical, regulated organizations, and they exist with, you could think of fintech and you could think of a lot of other areas and evolving areas where this becomes really important that we're doing a great job holistically. So the APTs and kind of combine that with nation state sorts of actors and just with so much of the kinetic warfare that unfortunately we're experiencing in the world right now, there's periods of a lot of peace and there's periods of chaos, and we're in an area that's maybe a little bit more on the chaos side. And so understanding how all of these things impact cybersecurity are important. And I'm almost getting to the point, I'm almost there, but I have been saying recently how it's just amazing since when I started in cybersecurity, which we didn't call it that when I started, but it's progressed so much that cybersecurity is core to national security. And I'm almost to that point where I'm now saying that it's the most important part of national security because it is doing so much with maybe that the kinetic warfare and other sorts of actions. And so this whole area is obviously really important, and you can see all these things sort of interrelate. And that's why it's so important that many of the regulations that are out there, that they're addressing a lot of these areas. And I know we've got some excellent speakers about DORA, which is something out of the European Union, and how important that is. But I think it's something that we all should be paying attention to. Real time is something that when you move quickly and you have things that are automated, you do eliminate errors, I think. But when people are moving very quickly and they're missing steps, then you always sort of wonder about that. But the financial services industry moving towards more real-time payments, instant payment sorts of things, we got to make sure that we have all of the important best practices, the steps of verification, making sure everything's auditable, making sure the right people are getting the right funds. This is something that I'm definitely thinking about a lot, and it's relating to the next point, just continuous cybersecurity, and how do we do this? How do we make sure that security is not an event, it's not this destination, it's this journey that we're on, that's ongoing all the time for us. And so it's really important that anything that we have, whether it's an audit or it's an implementation of a new system, that we're able to continuously check that. And something just more generally, I think about thinking to the future and how quickly the future is going. I've heard in the news sort of different opinions on how soon quantum is going to be with us in a practical fashion. And you've probably seen some of the same things that, it's very far off. But I think more and more we're seeing that it's closer and closer. And so organizations understanding that, understanding how to be ready for quantum computing, on how to use it, how to leverage it, how it's going to create risks to our keys, and how to make sure that we have this sort of bill of materials for quantum so that we can make sure we are updating all of our systems. And then you combine that with some of the other things I've talked about. How's the supply chain doing? How's our third-party risk related to quantum? So it's definitely something that's really important. So we've had at Cloud Security Alliance this focus, this emphasis on FinCloud Security, and you can go to our website /FS, and you can always be current on what we're talking about there, the reports we're releasing relevant to this, and how some of the other work that we're doing that's maybe more general actually applies to financial services. So a few of the initiatives that I think are pretty important, and out of our AI safety initiative, you're seeing a couple of things, and STAR for AI is an upgrade essentially, or the next version of our STAR program for Cloud Provider Assurance certification, where we're actually extending that for AI providers. So now all cloud providers are AI providers. So you got to continue to look at the cloud providers, but also we got to look at what the enterprises, what the financial services organizations, what their responsibilities are as it relates to safe, ethical use of AI, how they're protecting customer information, everything else. So a lot of very good best practices. We actually have our AI controls matrix, which is in peer review as of this time, as of when you're watching this, and it's going to be ongoing for a few more weeks. So you might want to check that out. Something I wanted to highlight that I think is going to be a big game changer for financial services is teasing this out. It's a project that we're going to be announcing more fully at the RSA conference, is the Compliance Automation Revolution, or CAR. So what we're talking about there is to do AI-assisted regulatory analysis and try to normalize that into a more rational control framework, how we're going to look at the continuous monitoring, continuous auditing, and making that work in a best practices way with the latest technology, how we're able to do the right type of information exchange that goes machine to machine from all sorts of systems through the supply chain, everything else. So it's a project that I'm very excited about. It's great to see all of the partners that are there. As we see AI get better and better, I think you're going to see that the audit, compliance, risk management, GRC, you're going to see it be able to do a lot more of the initial assessment, helping the auditors do a lot more of your reporting. And it's going to be a game changer in that industry. I think we know it. And hopefully it's going to allow organizations to spend a lot more time on cybersecurity enabling the business. So I hope that this event today is something you're going to find one of the best in financial services throughout 2025. And we do have regular shorter sessions, webinar series, FinCloud Fridays, where you can continually get up to date. And stay tuned with our website, stay tuned with the different projects we have, because I think you're going to find they have a lot of relevance for what you're doing. So with that, I want to thank you for your participation here. I want to kick things off, and I hope that you will reach out to me. You've got my email address, and anything that you would like to suggest for Cloud Security Alliance dealing with FinCloud Security, I'd love to hear it, and I'd love to add that to our roadmap. So thank you very much.